The night the lantern first appeared, it was burning with a flame that did not cast a shadow. Evelyn had always been drawn to abandoned places, but nothing in her 23 years of exploring ruins prepared her for this. Deep in the heart of the Blackmoor Forest, she stumbled across an ancient stone pedestal, cracked and overgrown with moss. Resting on top of it was a lantern, tarnished silver, etched with symbols that shimmered faintly, as though alive. Its flame glowed cold blue, yet the trees around it remained dark, untouched by light. She froze, breath catching in her chest. A voice, so faint it was almost a whisper, seemed to hum from the lantern itself. Evelyn. Her heart thundered. Nobody knew her name here. Nobody should. The air grew heavy, and when she tried to step back, her body refused to move. Drawn by something beyond her control, she reached out. The metal was warm under her trembling fingers. The instant she touched it, the world around her rippled like water. The forest dissolved, and suddenly she stood in a graveyard of endless stone pillars, each engraved with names that glowed faintly in the dark. At the far end of the graveyard stood a hooded figure. Slowly it raised its head, revealing hollow sockets where eyes should be. Its voice crawled into her ears deeper than thunder. "The Lantern of Lost Souls has chosen you." Before she could scream, the flames surged higher, pulling shadows into its glow. She saw faces inside the fire, pale, screaming, reaching. Then, as quickly as it began, silence fell. She was back in the forest. The lantern was still in her hand, its flame still whispering. And Evelyn realized, with bone-deep terror, whatever she had just seen was no hallucination. The lantern had marked her. The first night Evelyn brought the lantern home, she swore she heard voices seeping from its glow. She had tried to leave it behind in the forest, but no matter how far she walked, she ended up circling back to the pedestal. Finally, defeated and trembling, she carried it home, hoping daylight would prove it was nothing more than her mind playing tricks. But as she sat alone in her dimly lit apartment, the lantern burned on her desk with that cold blue fire. It refused to go out even when she tried smothering it. Not with water, not with cloth, not even with her grandmother's heavy cast-iron pan. And then came the whispers. At first they were soft, like echoes in a cavern, but soon they sharpened into words. Names. Dozens of names she didn't recognize, spilling out in broken syllables. Some cried, some begged, some warned. But one voice, clearer than the rest, made her blood run cold. Evelyn. It was the same voice she'd heard in the forest. She stumbled back, knocking over a chair, eyes wide on the flickering flame. "Who are you?" she shouted, breath ragged. The whisper answered instantly. "We are the ones trapped, the ones forgotten, the ones bound to the lantern." Her skin prickled. "What do you want from me?" The flame pulsed, throwing faint images across her walls. Shadows of faces screaming, hands clawing at invisible walls. To be free. The lantern chooses a bearer, one who can open the way. Evelyn's chest tightened. The phrase rang in her skull, chosen bearer. She wanted to believe this was a dream. She wanted to believe she hadn't been cursed by a relic of death itself. But then the shadows shifted. Among the screaming faces, she saw one that nearly made her collapse. It was her father. His mouth moved inside the flame, forming words she couldn't hear. His face stretched with terror before dissolving back into smoke. Evelyn's knees buckled, tears blurring her sight. Her father had died when she was 10, no body ever found. How could he be inside the lantern? The whispers grew urgent now, louder, overlapping. "Free us! Free us!" Before it takes you too. A violent knock rattled her door, jerking her back into reality. She froze, lantern clutched tight. It was midnight. No one ever came this late. Slowly, the handle began to turn on its own. The door creaked open, though Evelyn had never touched the lock. Her chest rose and fell in ragged gasps as the lantern's flame flickered wildly, throwing pale light across the room. In the doorway stood a man, tall, cloaked in a coat too long for his frame, his face obscured by shadow. He didn't move at first, only listened, as though the whispers spilling from the lantern were calling him too. Finally his voice cut through the silence, low and rough. "You should not have taken it." Evelyn staggered back, clutching the lantern tight against her chest. "Who are you? How do you even know about this?" The man stepped inside, closing the door behind him with unnerving calm. When he lifted his head, she saw eyes so pale they looked almost silver. They gleamed like moons, hollow and unblinking. "I've been following the lantern for decades," he said. "It passes from hand to hand, always leaving ruin in its wake. But never before has it chosen someone like you." Her throat tightened. "Chosen?" He gave a single, slow nod. "The lantern doesn't just appear. It marks its bearer. And once marked, you can't escape. The souls inside, they will bind themselves to you. Evelyn's pulse hammered in her ears. Souls, my father. I saw him inside. He's there, I know it. The man's expression hardened. Then you understand the danger. The lantern doesn't show you truth. It shows you what it needs to keep you close. Do not trust what you see. The words cut into her like knives. Was her father's face real or a trick? She wanted to scream at the stranger, to throw the lantern into his hands and make it his problem. But before she could, the flame surged violently and both of them turned toward it. The whispers were no longer quiet. They became a roar. A chorus of wails. Shadows spilled from the lantern like smoke, writhing across her ceiling and walls, twisting into shapes of clawed hands and hollow eyes. The man stepped forward quickly, producing a chain etched with runes from beneath his coat. He thrust it toward her. Give me the lantern! Now, before it feeds! Evelyn clutched it tighter. Her body screamed to obey him, to rid herself of this cursed thing. But something inside her, something primal and defiant, refused. The flame bent toward her, as if drawn to her resistance. And then, in a voice louder than all the others, the lantern spoke with a single, commanding tone. Do not let him take me. The stranger's eyes widened. His calm demeanor cracked, replaced with raw fear. The room trembled as the lantern's voice echoed through every corner, a deep resonance that rattled Evelyn's bones. The stranger's silver eyes locked onto hers, sharp with urgency. It's already binding to you. If you keep it, you'll never be free. Evelyn's grip tightened on the lantern, her knuckles white. You expect me to just hand this over when you won't even tell me who you are? His jaw clenched, and for the first time she sensed fear in him. I am a keeper. One of the last. My duty is to contain the lantern before it consumes another soul. Every bearer before you has either died, or worse. The flame pulsed, sending shivers down her spine. Its whispers turned into a single chorus, all voices overlapping in desperate unison. Don't listen! Don't let him take us. He will lock us away forever. Her heart cracked under the weight of it. Her father's face appeared again, clearer than before, lips moving soundlessly. She thought she could almost make out the word help. Tears stung her eyes. If there's even a chance he's really in there, I can't just give this up. The keeper stepped closer, lowering his voice. Evelyn, listen to me. The lantern lies. It feeds on your hope. It shows you what you most want to see, because that's how it keeps you. But his warning came too late. The flame flared, and shadows wrapped around Evelyn's arms, not burning, but fusing into her skin like veins of darkness. She screamed, dropping to her knees as the lantern's handle grew impossibly hot. The keeper swore under his breath and hurled the rune-etched chain toward her. The moment it touched the lantern, sparks of blue fire erupted, shaking the walls. Evelyn felt something tear inside her chest, like part of her soul was being pulled toward the flame. The shadows writhed violently, fighting against the chain. The keeper strained, muscles taut as he tried to tighten it. Let go. If you don't, it will claim you completely. But the lantern's voice bellowed, cutting him off. You are mine now, Evelyn. You are the bearer, and only through you can they be freed. Evelyn's vision blurred with pain and light. Her father's face surfaced again in the flame, this time screaming her name. Her choice clawed at her. Trust the keeper or trust the lantern. The chain snapped. A surge of cold fire exploded outward, throwing both Evelyn and the keeper across the room. The lantern hovered in the air, its flame twisting into a shape that resembled a face, ancient, hollow, and watching. It whispered in a voice that chilled her to the marrow. The door has been opened. Evelyn opened her eyes to find herself standing in a vast plain of darkness, the lantern floating before her like a lone star. The keeper was there too, staggering to his feet, his pale eyes darting around with dread. This should be impossible, he muttered. The lantern has never pulled someone this far inside before. Evelyn swallowed hard, her voice trembling. Where are we? The lantern answered for him. Between worlds, the place where the lost remain. Shapes began to emerge from the blackness. Shadows at first, then faces, then bodies. Hundreds of them. Men, women, children, all with hollow eyes and pale skin, drifting closer. Their mouths opened in silent screams. But Evelyn recognized some of the faces. Her father was among them. He stepped forward, his expression twisted with pain. Evelyn, he said, his voice hoarse but real this time. It's me. She staggered toward him, but the keeper yanked her back, his grip like iron. It's not him. Don't you see? They're the damned, Evelyn. They'll do anything to pull you under. Her father's eyes softened, glistening. Do you remember the silver compass I gave you? You dropped it in the river that summer. I dove for hours to find it. Only I would know that, Evelyn. Only me. Her breath caught. The memory was sharp, vivid. Something she had never told another soul. Tears filled her eyes. It was him. It had to be. The keeper cursed, raising his chain once more. If you believe them, you're lost. The lantern flared, its voice cutting across the void. Free them, Evelyn. Open the lantern, and they will walk again. Her father reached out, pleading, please, end this. Set us free. Evelyn's heart split in two. She felt the weight of every whisper, every face pressing in. If she opened the lantern, she might save them. Or unleash something far worse. The keeper's voice cracked with desperation. If you open it, the souls will not return to life. They'll flood into this world. Endless hunger, endless sorrow. You'll damn everyone. The darkness swirled. Her father's hand was inches from hers. The lantern pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, urging her to choose. With shaking hands, Evelyn grasped the lantern's lid. Her father's eyes widened with hope. The keeper screamed, rushing toward her. The choice was hers. The lid creaked. Light burst outward, searing white, swallowing everything. Screams of joy and horror blended together as the world shattered. And then silence. When Evelyn opened her eyes again, she was back in her apartment. The lantern rested quietly on the floor, its flame extinguished. For the first time it was dark, but carved across the glass were new words, glowing faintly in silver. The bearer has spoken. If you've been drawn into the mystery of the Lantern of Lost Souls, don't let the flame go out here. Hit that subscribe button to follow more haunting tales. Drop a like if this story gave you chills, and share your thoughts in the comments. Would you trust the lantern or the keeper? Your answer might just decide the fate of the next story.